Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you to everyone who's watched my latest method feeder video. It's gone down really well, loads of comments, loads of people subscribing. Keep that up guys, it's making it all worthwhile and it's making me be able to keep these videos coming, so thank you very much. Anyway, down to the fishing. I'm at Orchard Place in Kent. Give it a little hour and a half or so. Going to do a little bit of fishing down the edge and just see how it goes on the old pole. Really simple bait menu today guys. I've got the mainline Red Supreme, I've never used this before, and a good old-fashioned tin of sweet corn. I'm going to be potting this in, feeding a little bit of this. I have got some micros as well, but I want to see if I can get them over ground bait first. I've never used this, but I just like the red and yellow combination, and the yellow should really stick out over a nice bed of this juicy red ground bait. So fingers crossed guys. Right, let's get this mainline Red Supreme mixed up. Show you what it looks like in the dry mix guys, and then we'll show you what it looks like after it's had a mix. So it's really like krill red, pink, real proper vibrant, and you can imagine the sweet corn over the top of that. They're gonna love it, hopefully. Right, so like normal, just gonna put the whole bag in just in case they do really want some bait down them, and then I'm just gonna literally soak it up, literally turn it like a soup guys. You're going to look at this and think, what is he doing? So there you go guys, let's just show you. So that's what it looks like in there. So you can see it's already starting to dry up, literally. Probably put a little bit more in there. Literally want to turn this, it's nigh enough like a slop you would use. So in about 10 to 15 when it's dried, and then we're going to just riddle it up and hopefully have a nice heavy ground bait. So we're introducing a nice pot at 200 mils. We're about 2 foot off the bank. So ideally where I want to be, just in front of this yellow weed. And just turn the pot over. Give it a little tap, and she comes straight to the bottom. You can see that beautiful red hue in the water. It's gone straight down. I'm not going to go mad straight away because I don't know, it is 30 degrees today, boys and girls, so I don't know how these fish. And so it's about 3:30. Just come down here, like I said at the beginning, just for a couple of hours, probably an hour and a half, just to see. And we're just literally going to fish corn over ground bait. I'm going to start literally by just feeding it and then topping it up. I'm not going to go in via a toss pot to start with, but I might change to that if it goes a bit crazy, just to try and control and limit the amount of ground bait I'm putting in, because it can be a bit of a nightmare sometimes. But hopefully in this depth of water, I wouldn't use it in anything over 2.5 foot, 3 foot probably max if you've got a real dense mix, but we'll see how we get on. There we go guys, we're in, first fish. That didn't take long, did it? The old ground bait and corn combo working nicely. Doesn't feel massive, so we get it straight down to the top kit. Let the elastic do its work. Fishing with purple hydro just in case, because there are some lumps in here. Probably get away with black at the moment, to be fair, looking at the size of this fish, but if I do think it's too overgunned, I will switch, and that's something you should do as well if you don't want to start bumping fish, especially if you're in a match. But if it's a nice fish, just let it do its thing. Looks like a mirror, I think. I'm not sure though. Just forget to take a couple of, it's a lovely chunky mirror to start with. Good, probably £6. So I'm happy with that for a start, guys. Hey, fish number one. It's actually more like £8. Right, see if we can sneak another one out on that ground bait before we pot in again. Again, a winning combination. 4 or 5 grains of corn in your pot, in my toss pot. Reset the elastic. I'm going to feed just a tiny bit more ground bait. It's like a 200ml pot, and I'm probably putting about 100ml in, just pushing it down. I don't want to overload it, blow the peg. Straight back into that little position. I'm feeding the ground bait just in front of where I am putting my float. The reason for that is I just think sometimes it reduces line bites. I think so if you put it right up tight and you're up tight, they're coming in, they're trying to get behind it, and it can be an absolute recipe for disaster. But everyone, each to their own. It's that's all the. Definitely got some clouding up going on down there now, so we've just got to work out how to catch these fish now, because there's definitely some carp in the swim having a little grub around. There we go. Just that introduction of those couple of grains of corn just made that fish just want it. I don't think it's a huge fish. It's an absolute clonky mirror. Don't know if it knows it's properly hooked yet. Just waking up a little bit. It's just wallowing around at the moment. Just keep that pole tip low. It's woke up a little bit now, this fish. Just got itself wrapped over the line at the moment. That's a lovely edge fish. About £8. Happy days. Right, let's introduce a little bit more ground bait. Right, let's introduce a little bit more ground bait. So if it starts to dry out, just Just add a little bit of water over the top just to keep it nice and dense and heavy. You won't do it any harm. There it goes. Nice. Get that red hue running through the water. I'm going to put a couple of grains in the old toss pot because that brought that fish then, I think. Just feed 3 or 4 grains over the top of the ground bait, just giving something for them to pick out. But if they're staying that size, then I'll probably stay on this purple hydro. But if they do get small, then certainly we will change. There you go, straight in. This one's going under the bank. Not a happy fish. How about that for a mad bite, guys? Just get that fish under control. That really wanted to get under that bank, so that's what I'm telling you, these banks are undercut. It knows where it wants to be. So I'm using my original Dower G90 pole today. Just love this pole. I'm not going to go down to a top kit just yet. Feels like an alright fish. He says that, but he's tempted to have a little, see if he can get it in on the top kit. Feels like another good fish, trying to get under this bank cover so they know it's undercut, they know snags are there. Just let the elastic do its thing, let it just bob around. Just feed a couple of them grains of corn. Just to keep a few fish in that area. It's another lovely feisty mirror. So, as you can see, last hour or so of a match, you can build a proper weight, proper quick. So when it's ready, don't go stabbing at it, because that's when you knock them off or you break the line. It's nowhere near ready when it's doing jumps out of the water. There we go. Just like that. Another edge monster. It's probably about 7, 8 pound, 6 pound, 7 pound. And there he is. In the sun. So, rigs for today. Absolutely simple as. So I've done 2. I've got about 2 foot, just under 2 foot of water, about 1.5 foot from the bank, and that's sort of a little bit shallow as you come up. And then I've got a 3 foot one, just in case I have a bit too many problems and I want to fish away from where I'm potting in. So just in front of it, so they're coming in to come to get bait, but they're going to intercept my bait first, if you can see what I mean. So the deeper rig is a, there we go, if you can see that, that is a 0.4 Guru Mick Wilkinson diamond. This is on 019 all the way along, and then you've all seen this before, strung, solid bulk of number 8, 6 number 8s, and then I've got a Guru XS spade size 14, and I have got 12s as well. So for the in closer rig, I'll just show you that. So that is a Mick Wilkinson Guru, just show you that. That is a Mick Wilkinson Guru 0.4, little stubby float again. So the diamond I like as well, if it's chopping, just cuts through the water better. So again, 019 down to an 017 6-inch hook length. Again, the same bulk of number 6 shots, you couldn't get easier, and the same hook, XS spade Guru, size 14, and I've got 12 as well. So 2 really easy rigs, small toss pot for putting the corn in today as well, guys. So give this a little dunk under the water first when you're shipping out. Just stops them bouncing out and chucking your bait all over everywhere. As I showed earlier, supermarket corn, nice big chunky solid grains. And then we've got in there the old mainline Red Supreme red ground bait. And if you can see that, look how nice that looks, guys. Hee hee. Straight back out to our little area. Pole pot on top of the water, turn it over, you see it sink down, it goes boom. And if a bait sinks out of sight very quickly, you know you've mixed it right and it's dense, and it hopefully should stay on that deck, exactly where you want to pin those big Mr. and Mrs. Carp to make your life easier regarding foul hooking and getting your bite, clean bites. Again, so couple of grains of corn, just 3 or 4. I'm not going to go mad, I don't want to absolutely blow the peg. They might want a lot more bait, but at the moment, all the time I'm getting a fish, I'm not going to change it. Just swing it out, like we said before, tap them grains of corn in, bring that over, get it right over where them grains of coal have gone in, and she's set. I'm using a Guru 0.4 margin float. There we go. Just them little quick dinks. That's all you're looking for. This thing's going all over the shop. Nope, we lost it. It's probably foul hook, that one. Absolutely kicked the floor up big time, so we might have to re-pot. You are going to lose some of them down the edge, guys. It's just part of it. It might not have been only in the skin of its mouth, and the rate they tear off out against the elastic, you are going to lose some fish. Again, in a couple of grains, we're going to go back in without, just see what happens without refeeding, but that ground bait will have kicked up. So ideally I should repot it, but I'm just going to be lazy for 2 minutes for a repot straight away. So again, make a little bit of noise, about a few inches from it. They can hear that pop, 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 pop of that corn going in the water. Then move your float back over it, get it settled, and we'll see what happens. If I don't get a bite within a couple of minutes, then I will go back out with some more ground bait. There we go, straight away. So there is a few fish there now, 100%. Absolutely kicked the floor up again, this fish. Charging off. Get down to your top kick when you feel comfortable. Just let it do its thing. Keep that pole tip nice and low. Hopefully you can see all this on camera. I'll position the camera away just so you can see like where I'm fishing and the bite and a little bit of the action of this great method. I know there's been loads of videos about it, but I thought I'd just like to do my own ones for you and show you my own fishing. It's all about me getting myself match fit, as they say, because I've been out of match fishing for so long properly that I'm just trying to this year get my head straight, doing all the different methods that you need to compete, and this is certainly one of them. So you could have been out shallow out there slapping for them as well today, absolutely no problem. They want to be in a couple of feet of water. There's still cruising fish. I've no doubt if I chuck the wag out there, it'll fly under within a few minutes after pinging some 8 mils over the top. But we're having a go at this for once. It's another nice mirror, all mirrors down the edge. Last time I had absolutely bundles of F1s over on the other side of the lake, but I've not had an F1 yet, and it seems to be mirror heaven. This fish has now realised there's a net involved in this scenario and doesn't like it. So yeah, what better though? Bag of ground bait, tin of supermarket corn, couple of top kits, couple of sections of pole, nice commercial lake, bagging some beasts in a nice bit of afternoon, evening sun. What more could you want? When they're ready, get them to take a couple of mouthfuls of air, you know they're ready. In we go. Subdued by the G90 from Dower. Happy days. Let's get him in unhooked. Happy days. Let's get a bit more ground bait in, guys. Have a little pot. I'm going to put a couple of grains. We're going to stay with the grains coming through the toss pot for the moment. That seems to have brought us fish. And as you saw, I've had a couple of puttings. We didn't have nothing. Changed up, putting a few grains through the toss pot. And that brought us a couple more fish. Look at that lovely sink. Bosh. Straight down the bottom. It's exactly how we want it. Nice and heavy on that floor, like a nice velvet carpet. Not that a velvet carpet's something that I put in my my home, but just an analogy of it sitting down there. All right, 3-4 grains of corn in the old toss pot again. So I will talk about the rig that I'm using as well. There's 2 floats I use, both from Guru. One's the margin and one's the margin diamond. If I've got a choppier peg with a wing coming in, I'll use the margin diamond just because it offers less resistance and it's not so pulled about then. So there we go. We're back in play. I think it's drifting away too far from you and you might be then hovering off the bottom of your bait. Don't be afraid just to lift it and just reposition it, bring it back to your marker. Fish took that in its mouth then, but I wasn't comfortable striking that then. As you can see, it came straight back out, blew it out. That's why the float then popped back straight up. We've had 4 carp now in the space of I think 20 odd minutes. So I'd like to get them a little bit quicker than that, but that's still good considering, as I say, we haven't pre-baited or anything. We just come down, put some bait in and fished over it. Bow wave there, Gary. Bad spook. I might have to introduce some more bait now because I've spooked the swim. Absolute huge bow waves going out into the lake. So we've definitely got some of the bigger inhabitants of this lake are visiting this little edge. So it's a lovely little cutout. It's like right in line with me. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. So if I fish off in front of me or down under this tree, I'm in over 3 foot of water, and that's just not where I want to be with ground bait. Happy to feed micros in that depth, but as in a ball of squeezed micros or softened 4 mils in a ball. But I just don't feel comfortable with ground bait in that depth. I think it just spreads out too far and just gets wafted around it a bit more. So here we go, flying bream, guys. So that definitely goes to prove the old carp have dispersed after that foul look. So we're definitely going to feed a bit more ground bait. So yeah, I might change down to a smaller pot if we do get issues like that. And then can sand castle it so it goes literally like a stone to the bottom. But at the moment, looking at what I can see, hopefully you'll see it on the little up close camera, that it is going down through the column, water column, quite rapid. You don't want it hanging around on the surface like you were if you were fishing with a slop short for F1s and stuff, or carp, because you don't want it hanging in the water. You're defeating the object of trying to catch these fish on the water. Again, 4 grains of corn, little knock straight away. Got fish around the area bouncing around. Glad I didn't hit that, 'cause that was definitely a line bite. Right, bobbed down and bobbed up quick. So it is, sometimes it's just getting that, your timing right and knowing what's to it, and even sometimes I still hit them. There we go. But they're coming out of the peg quite cleanly, which is nice. Just keep it low if it is. This fish is not happy at all, which makes me think it might be foul hooked. I'm not sure. The weight, just by the way it's shot off, don't get me wrong, some of the bigger fish will go off at a rate of knots. I think this is foul hooked. Just keep the pole low. Oh no, it might actually be in the mouth. I can see why it's shot off. It's just on the side of its face, just outside the mouth. So obviously where I've struck, the hook's come out and gone into the side of the mouth. And he's in the bag. Yeah, literally he's right outside its mouth. Gonna put it in as like a ball this time. See if that makes any difference. And a couple of grains of corn. Just see, it's all about playing around with it. And that's a carp. It's a bream, it's about £10. This fish isn't ready yet. So just that ball of ground bait, there's a few grains of corn, brought us another one. Just playing around with it. It looks like this might be our first F1. Oh no, it's a small common. About £3. Happy days. It's getting better. I've got a bite. It's just woken up. Yeah, a lovely fish in the mouth. Nice comment. I thought we were going to have him nice and quick then. I think just when he's putting that ball in rather than letting it fall as a bit looser, gets me a cleaner bite. Now the fish are there. So it's definitely something to bear in mind, guys. Get him to take a couple of gulps. Come on, boy. Come on, boy. In you go. Yeah. Love it. Who don't love a bit of edge madness? Again, about £6, £7. Might be pushing 8 actually. But again, some quality edge fish right in the middle of the mouth, under the top lip, exactly where I want to be seeing it. So yeah, happy days. Again, just a little ball, size of golf ball. Just feel a bit more confident feeding it that way now. So the other way is to compress it really hard and feed it as like a sandcastle, just in front of where I'm putting my float. Get it back in its trap position. Drag it up that shelf a little bit, and that is set. There you go, guys. That proper bullet, that is what you're looking for. Out goes the elastic and round she goes. As you can see, purple hydro doing its business. Again, like we said earlier on, if it wants to run off and go ballistic, just keep that tip low and see where it is. It'll soon tell you when it's ready. Haven't seen it yet. It's an angry little warrior. Just let it tire itself out against the elastic. There we go, nearly ready now. Another one of these angry orchard commons at £5 or £6. There we go, mouthful of water. Job done. Happy days. Hee hee. Another margin carp. Let's get him back. If we can sneak another one out on that ground bait before we pot in again. Again, a winning combination. 4 or 5 grains of corn in your pot, in my toss pot. Reset the elastic. So I'm going to try and winkle another one out on the corn. Like before, 3 or 4 grains of corn. Probably more like 6 this time, but only going to have a couple more puttings now, guys. I've been down here an hour and a half now, and I'm getting hungry. Like these fish are. Again, if you feel like it's walking off, just reset it over the trap. There we go. And just get rid of them last couple of bits of corn. Proper lump that doesn't know it's hooked yet, I don't think. Try and get him in before he wakes right up. He's a nice common, absolute solid common. Oh, and that's why, and that's a top tip for you. Don't be too anxious to get it in. We've just lost an absolute unit of a fish. Now that's better than any other tip I can give you. That right there, you do not do. It might have been lightly hooked, but I think where I saw that it come up to the surface quickly, I just got a bit impatient, so that's cost me a lovely big lump. Again, it's a nice clean bite over that ball of ground bait rather than the pot of ground bait. Just where I've just downsized the amount I was putting in, just seems to have kept them a bit more controlled. Getting some cleaner bites now. It's just knowing it's not about going all gun-ho with it. I mean, if I was in a slightly less water, you could probably get away with feeding a bit more, but ground bait, but I say I'm about 2 foot, and I just felt it was causing it to go a bit gnarly, so that's why I just changed the tack. Just instead of potting it in, just like putting a ball in, solid ball, so they got to break it up on the bottom. It will break up quick, don't get me wrong, but just rather than them wafting around in it as it's falling through the column of water. Just drag that back a bit. It's just gone away a little bit too far for my liking from where I want it. That's where I want it. It's about a body's worth, maybe slightly more over depth. And you definitely, another tip is to get your plummet out every now and again and check your bottom, because if it's a soft bottom, trust me, these things, they're like pigs and they just start chewing the floor up. It's gone off like a steam train again, this fish. But the old hydro is just, it allows them to fly out still. You think, don't be thinking this is an absolute pull the heads off elastic, because it ain't. We're just going to let this do its thing for a minute. Whew. What a warm day, guys, though. 30 degrees. Cracking, literally not a cloud in the sky. I'd like to have come down here early, but I don't think I could have done 8, 9, 10 hours in this intense heat. I think I'd be looking a bit like a frazzle. Definitely not having none of it at the moment, this fish. Still see fish grubbing up down there. You might see it on the camera. No. Again, if you're in a match, you just got to make sure all these fish count. It knows where the bank is, 100% this fish. Every time it knows when it's coming towards the bank, it wants to do one. It's going for another run now. That's what I mean, these fish in this place are without a doubt healthy as. They're some of the hardest fighting fish pound for pound I've ever played. Oh, it's an absolute clonker of a mirror. This might be the fish to end on, guys. Just does not want to come. Yeah. Whew. What a pretty fish, like a wood carving. This thing went off like an absolute rocket. I hope you enjoyed the video. Guys, thank you very much. Keep coming back because there's going to be plenty more. See you soon.